Oh my gosh, everything is a mess. Everything is a mess. Why are you up? I need to see Parappa. What's up, Parappa? So hopefully this next week is the last week of sporadic uploads because like I mentioned to you guys, there's a move going on. Now this week I was supposed to upload regularly, but then the internet's out here making my uploads take about 4 hours to go up live. And it just yesterday, Wednesday night Knicks had to be canceled because of Spectrum. I got beef with you, man. I got beef with you, Spectrum. You always do this just at the worst times. You just decide to just snatch my internet away from me. And what's crazy is last night then, like later on at night, I don't care if people like, well, yo, CK, at certain times this is the best time to be on the internet. Late at night, I'm able to play 2K with the boys without a single problem. But yet when I want to go live with the homies and watch the Knicks, you ain't gonna let me do that. You snatched Wednesday night Knicks away from me, Spectrum. You snatched them. Anyways, the Knicks won, and we're going to talk about that, but I have a few other questions that I'm going to raise for you guys, because it's okay to do that. It's okay to talk about certain things. Like, don't take it as negativity. I've been seeing y'all on Twitter, man. People be getting too sensitive on Twitter, but anyways, run the intro. What's going on, CK Crew? Your boy CK2K here. Welcome back to another video. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Do not forget to like this video. Today, we are going to talk about the win against the Chicago Bulls after a rough loss against the Chicago Bulls at the beginning of the week that I cannot talk about because, like I just mentioned, with the internet. But before we do that, I do want to shout out this comment of the video. Agent Super Argo saying, gotta love that Dallas is unwilling tanking for the Knicks. Who have their draft picks this season? Oh, I think that's us. I think we own the draft pick. Shout out to Agent Super Argo, even though they did survive that game against Atlanta. I know KP had that little highlight dunk or whatever, and he decided to start making some shots, and all of a sudden they were a little bit better. But that's neither here nor there. For the most part, Mavericks have been pretty... Will the Mavericks stay this way for the rest of the season? I don't know. But let's get into the Knicks, because last night the Knicks were able to survive a game of our own against the Bulls for the second night in a row. Well, not in a row, but in the Chicago Bulls series. Now, we know that first game was just ugly from top to bottom to the point where we ended up losing 102 to 110. But yesterday's game looked like it was all Knicks all day long. Well, until the middle of the third quarter, things just got weird. Once we went to the bench in that third quarter, things just got weird for us. And we only managed to win this game by 4 points. When that didn't tell the story about how we played the entire game. Now, was it substitution problems? Was it the personnel? This, that, and the third? We'll talk about that later on in the video. But I got to give the props to the ones that were doing it. And that is RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and yes, trigger warning, we got to give some love to Elfrid Payton because Elfrid Payton was hooping out last night. Julius Randle was having one of those nights where it felt like he could not miss any shot he was taking. He was doing crazy numbers from the three-point line, 5 for 7 from the 3, and as well putting 11 for 20 from the field itself. It was an efficient overall game. He gave us 27 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals. Julius Randle was doing what Julius Randle has been doing all season long, as well as RJ Barrett. Especially earlier on in the game, you could see the team was running through RJ and Julius Randle really efficiently to the point where RJ Barrett had 14 points early in the half, but then only ended with 17 points because, like I said, the second half was just a very, very weird collapse for the entire New York Knicks team. But RJ Barrett himself had a solid game, shooting 50% from the field, 8 for 16, 17 points, 7 boards, another 7-board game for RJ Barrett, 2 assists. But another person that had a great game last night that we're not going to ignore last night is none other than Elfrid Payton. I know a lot of the haters are going to be very upset about me talking about Elfrid Payton in a positive light, but you got to give respect where respect is due. And last night, Elfrid Payton had one of those nights that we needed. There's even a stat out there that if Elfrid Payton hits more than 5 field goals for the game, we win game. Somebody put the differential up in the comment section, but it's something crazy like that. I think Clyde was the one that said that in the telecast. But man, Elfrid Payton had 20 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists. Now, mind you, if you do look at the numbers, it did take him 19 shots to get the 20 points, and that's not the greatest part of the entire thing. But at the same time, Elfrid Payton was finally hitting the shot around the rim that we've been waiting for him to hit, because he has not done that since his blow-up game at the beginning of the season. The question now is, of course, because this is the question of the entire season that you guys are going to be asking, does this warrant him to be the starter for the remainder of the season? That's the conversation I'm going to get back to at the end of the video when I talk about Immanuel Quickley. But does it warrant him to be a starter for the rest of the season? I'm not going to say yes or no, but at the same time, I told you guys my opinions when it comes to Immanuel Quickley. I do believe Immanuel Quickley is our best option as the point guard for this team, meaning that Immanuel Quickley should be playing the most minutes, but I'm also still okay with him not starting. Now, last night, the minute differential was a bit different from how it's been in the last few games. Immanuel Quickley has been averaging around 20 points in the last, three games, and playing around probably around 22 to 25 minutes in those games. But last night, he only played 13 minutes and scored 9 points to Immanuel Quickley's 35 minutes with 20 points. Now, haters are going to look at this and see that he took 19 shots to get the 20 points, but other people are going to see that Elfrid Payton was actually doing a good job playing and shooting the ball at effective times, so at least in the first half compared to games in the past. He did a good job of letting RJ Barrett and Julius Randle do what they do, and in his instances go out and take advantage, and I had no problem with that, to be completely real with you guys. But towards the end of the game, you start to see the bad part of Elfrid Payton rear its ugly head a little bit, and that's when things got a little rough. And Immanuel Quickley was starting to find his range a little bit towards the end, but we eventually subbed him out to bring him Elfrid Payton in. But Elfrid Payton did do a good job to temper Kobe White a little bit in that fourth quarter, who we know is somebody that's been killing us in his 2 years in the league. But all in all, it was a solid showing from Elfrid Payton. Is it something we're going to see again in the future? I'm not entirely sure, but to me, that is something that's important. If Elfrid Payton wants to have games like this where we can give him his credit, give him his props, it's got to be on a consistent basis, especially if you're going to be out there starting. Now, I am also aware that Elfrid Payton is not a starting point guard that is starting. You know what I mean? Elfrid Payton, we know on a good team, Elfrid Payton is a guy that could be the second point guard off the bench, or maybe even the third point guard off the bench. But for us, in some eyes of our coaching staff, he's probably our best option because of his experience or whatever. And that's the reason why he's starting. And he hasn't been playing consistently as a starting point guard, but this was a game where you could see him turn around a little bit. But let's see how that goes as the games go on. Now, I hope it doesn't come down to the fact where he's shooting 19 shots, in every single game. I don't like that. I would like the 9 makes. If he's shooting 12, 11 shots a game with 9 makes, 8 makes, 7 makes, that's something I would be completely fine with. But shooting 19 shots and only making 9 of them to get 20 points, that's something that it's a little hard for me to appreciate from now on. I mean, especially with only having 4 assists. He was doing a better job controlling the offense in that first half, but it wasn't great in the second half. But I'm not trying to take away from Elfrid Payton. He played well in last night's game, but the second half for everybody was a little bit rough. Now, again, in the second half, I'm not going to give any blame to Julius Randle, because Julius Randle still was one of the people that was keeping us afloat in that second half. But you saw RJ Barrett, who started off the game really hot, playing really well, only end with 17, and I hate seeing those kind of nights. And, you know, we could talk about the reasons why that is, but I'm not going to get into that right now. But 17 points only for RJ Barrett after having a great start. It felt like it was going to be one of those nights where RJ Barrett and Julius Randle were both going to have 25 plus points in the same game, but that wasn't the case. But we got to talk about a bench mob here, because it was a bit lackadaisical in last night's game, if you do ask me. I mean, to me, I feel like Nerlens Noel gave us a solid 20 minutes. I know a lot of you guys are really critical on Nerlens Noel. I haven't had that problem. It is a little frustrating when he doesn't catch the ball as consistently as he has in the past. Y'all calling him Butterfingers, saying he has cement for hands, this, that, and the third. That's probably the one knock I have on him, but his defense has been very, very good for us. He's had a few opportunities to show us the mid-range game. I don't think we've seen it enough. I don't have a problem with Nerlens Noel. I've liked the signing from the beginning, and I still have no problem with the signing. I still think he's been a good help for us, especially with Mitch coming off the bench. I like the transition from Mitch Robinson to Nerlens Noel and then back to Mitchell Robinson. But the questions I'm starting to have here, and maybe it's too early, but we've had a few games with the 3 of them playing together, but I don't know if I like them all playing together that much, and that is the combination of Immanuel Quickley, Austin Rivers, and Alec Burks. I don't like it. I'm gonna be completely real, and I know you guys probably gonna take it with a grain of salt, because I am somebody that wants to see Kevin Knox, and I know Kevin Knox did not play well in the last few games, but we gotta also remember those last few games were the first time that he had the likes of Alec Burks and Austin Rivers both back in the rotation, and those two command a lot of shots, which took the ball out of Kevin Knox's hand, which took Kevin Knox out of the game that he was doing so well to begin the season. So with that being said, I believe we're at a point where we got to choose one or the other. I've always said that I do believe the Knicks are going to make a move midway through this season. Whether it's a big move that's going to land us a Victor Oladipo, Lonzo Ball, Zach LaVine, Bradley Beal, whoever it may be, or just a small move that gets us maybe like a JJ Redick or something else that will unload one of these guards that are on this team. I believe that that's going to happen, and I feel like now we're starting to zero in on who the move should be around. Is it going to be Alec Burks or is it going to be Austin Rivers? Because it just makes no sense for this team to have both of them. Both of them do the same thing, and both of them need the ball, need the shots to do what they do well. One can't do half, and the other one can't do half to get the best product. Personally, if you're asking me, as much as you guys have been loving Austin Rivers, if I'm choosing between the two, I'm choosing Alec Burks. I just like the way Alec Burks scores the ball, and I like what Alec Burks does outside of when he's scoring the ball. Austin Rivers, it feels like the only way for his offense to really get going is if he's the guy with the ball and the team just steps aside and lets him do what he does. I'm not a big fan of that. Alec Burks is the kind of guy that can do the same thing, but also, as we saw last night, can give you 5 assists and move the ball if his shot's not falling. And that's what I would like to see from one of our backup guards. I still want him to go out there and let that thing fly when he gets the opportunity, but at the same time, if he knows how to play within the offense, that's what's big to me. So if we're going to jettison one of the two, I think Austin Rivers has got to be the one. And like a lot of people were excited about the Quivers effect, and I was there a little bit. I was starting to ring the bell a little bit about the whole Quivers thing, Austin Rivers and Emmanuel Quickley, but we haven't really seen much of that since the beginning of the season when they had the 2-game stretch together where they played really well. The combination just doesn't make sense. The reality situation is Emmanuel Quickley is more Jamal Crawford, Lou Will than a starting caliber point guard that you guys want him to be. I'm more concerned about him playing the most amount of minutes. If he comes off the bench but is playing 28 to 30 minutes, that's what I want to see more so than him starting. I don't know. I like him with the second unit a lot more. It just makes a lot more sense to me. I mean, he could definitely work with the starters, but then do we want Elfrid Payton being the one playing with the second unit? I don't know. So I like him coming off the bench. I just wish he would play more minutes every game, closing out the game. To me, that's more important for Emmanuel Quickley. So maybe I'm not a part of the starting Emmanuel Quickley brigade anymore. I mean, I did change the sign, #ZonaNY. Still believe he's the best option at point guard for us. Going back to what I was bringing up, the fact that Emmanuel Quickley, Austin Rivers, and Alec Burks, it's just, I don't like the Emmanuel Quickley, Austin Rivers combination anymore. I did like what I saw in the small sample size, and Alec Burks, and Emmanuel Quickley. They were the ones that were running the ball. I mean, it wasn't very much because the bench unit did not give us a lot when they were out there last night. But at the same time, the two of them together is something I would like to see a little bit more of rather than the Quivers thing. I like the Emmanuel Quickley and Burks effect. Last but not least, Obi Toppin. My opinion hasn't changed. My opinion hasn't changed with Obi Toppin. I'm not worried about Obi Toppin. I'm more worried about how we've been using Obi Toppin. I don't like how we use Obi Toppin, and that has not changed. I'm not one to complain about Tom Thibodeau because you can complain about his rotations, this, that, and the third, but Tom Thibodeau, this team is 10-13. The New York Knicks are 10-13 right now, and that is a big part to Tom Thibodeau. Julius Randle playing the basketball we've seen this year, to me, is a big part going to Tom Thibodeau because he hasn't playing his game, but it's been a lot more fine-tuned this year with the way he's able to play his game. RJ Barrett's finally getting to see the ball come through his hands a little bit more, except for some of the instances where Elfrid Payton is taking it out of his hands. So it's hard for me to go in and talk about Tom Thibodeau's the problem, Tom Thibodeau, but one of the fails of this season that I will give a little bit of shot to Tom Thibodeau for is the the Obi Toppin effect, because I really believe that we're just not using the kid the right way, and it just leads me to the question of, I don't understand the draft pick now. I really think, and I'm not someone that's ever been heavy on Obi Toppin. I was not one that wanted Obi Toppin in the draft. I was about Tyrese Halliburton, Kira Lewis, Devin Vassell. Those are the guys I was looking at in the draft. But at the same time, knowing that Obi Toppin fell down to us at 8, I knew that should have been a steal for us in the draft, because Obi Toppin should have been in the top 5, if not the top 6 in the draft, and he fell down our lap at 8. So I'm not going to be upset about the fact that we drafted Obi Toppin. But then if we're going to draft Obi Toppin and night in, night out, we're not using him the right way, I just don't understand that. And I don't know who's at fault for that, because you could try and blame Obi Toppin, but if you watch the film, Obi's doing what he does. Obi Toppin is making the cuts. Obi Toppin is one of the first people in transition, and Obi Toppin is getting himself available for jump shots a lot more of the time. There's been instances where he's not making the jump shot. Fine, you can knock him on that if you want to, but we're trying to force feed him in the post, and that's just not his game. We miss him on cuts. We don't play transition ball in the first place, so we miss him on a lot of things that really amplify his strengths. So it's really frustrating to see him play only 10 minutes and have 5 points when he started off. Like, he came out aggressive and didn't really do much. I don't know. It's still a little early for me to have this conversation, but I don't like it. We have a few more games. We have a relatively easy, in quotation, schedule for the rest of this first half of the season. But this is something I'm definitely going to be looking a little bit closer on, is the Obi Toppin situation, because I just don't like how he's being used. I really don't. And it's hard for me to put it on the player, because this one is definitely on the coaching and the personnel. But I mean, we'll see what happens as the season goes on. But for right now, Obi, I'm looking at you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. The opportunity will come. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below about everything that was mentioned in this video. Do you think that the ball was taken out of RJ Barrett's hands in that second half, which led to the Knicks not having the strongest of second halves and him only having 17 points? The Obi Toppin thing. What do you guys think about what I said about Alec Burks, Mayo Quickly, and Austin Rivers? Which one of them have to go? Obviously not Mayo Quickly, but Austin Rivers and Alec Burks. Do you think we need to move one of them, or can we keep both and make it work? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and also please let me know how you're feeling about Obi Toppin. I can't be alone and feeling a little worried about how the kid's being used, but let me know your thoughts in the comments below. But guys, you guys know the deal. I appreciate all you guys' support in all of these videos. Like I mentioned, February was going to be a very sporadic month because your boy's in the middle of the move, and I'm hoping that last week of February, I will be back in the groove of uploading regularly. Also be on the lookout for my other channels where there will be uploads, because once I'm in my new space, I will be able to get back to grinding and doing what I've been doing, uploading videos, more live streams, this, that, and the third. I'm really excited about, you know, taking this, you know, all this to the next level, and it's all thanks to you guys and support to you guys. But right now, I'm going through a move, and I appreciate you guys' support. But let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. I will be going to the comments and reading and responding to you guys. I will be. Some of you guys will see that I'm responding to your comment from 4 videos ago because I'm trying to catch up, but I really love reading y'all comments. It's been your boy CK. Subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you hit that notification bell, and do not forget to like this video. Join the CK Crew membership if you haven't already. Big join button, hit it if you haven't already. You know the vibes. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Let's get it. See y'all later. Knicks have another game. What, tomorrow? Ooh. Schedule never ends, boy. Let's get them out of here. Peace.
Feeling like I won the lotto. Always taking trips with a new chick, asking where the time goes. And I wonder if this is all I'll know.